can't stay. It's gotta go, get the hell away. Well, I tried to give me some peace today, but the future seems so far away. There's a revolution ahead. We're just trying to really understand. And the truth of our action is a real revelation. Join our present revolution man. Join our present revolution man. Join our present revolution man. Join our present revolution man.
Okay, we're coming in. Shit. All right, we're good. I just cussed. All right, good. This is perfect.
So no cussing?
Great.
I love flying up here. I love flying. It's so nice that I got rid of my partner Duck. Think I'll do some tailspins? I love riding on the taxpayers' money. Woo!
Dangerous. You're dangerous.
Who's that?
I don't like dangerous.
Who's that? Who's out there?
Ice tray.
Ice Tray. Hey, this is Palomino boy. I don't know what you think you're doing, but
Look, pee-pee boy. I'm gonna call you Wavy. Cause I'm the top gun. Danger gun.
I just saw two MiG bogeys on our tail. Either that, I think Putin sent us some people after us.
I've never seen a MiG.
It's either Putin or the Democratic Party has a new air service.
Oh. Kirsten Gillibrand is coming after you, Wavy.
Hey, Ice Tray, this is no time to be talking politics. I'm gonna try and shake him. Hang on. It's time we land. Let's land these things. Oh, wait, this ain't a... I don't think this is oxygen in here. I think this is,
Hey, that's a risky mask.
I
Better
think
stay
this
off
is-
that risky mask.
I got nitrous oxide hitting me. It's a... Oh, Daddy wants a truck! Daddy wants a truck!
This is very...
Revving up your engine, listen to a howling roar. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. We're gonna ride into the danger zone. Heading into twilight, spreading out our wings tonight. Got you jumping off the track, shoving into overdrive. Highway to the danger zone. Oh, take me So we wonder, you can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're
Safety.
where we want
Safety.
a place they'll never find.
Safety.
And act like we're out of this world, we leave this one behind.
Safety.
Dance,
Safety.
dance. Sure. Dance, dance. can't stay. It's time to go, get the hell away. Well, I tried to get me some peace today, but the future seems so far away. There's a revolution ahead. We're just trying to really understand. And the truth of our action is a real revelation. Join our present revolution band. Join our present revolution band. Join our present revolution band. Join our present revolution band.
Alert, 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 alert. Heart attacks, cataracts, broken bones,
Yeah.
brain cancer from cell phones,
Yeah.
falls and trips,
Yeah.
muscle rips, broken backs and car crashes, stitches, aches and pains and scratches, feeling low with aching bones,
Yeah.
got depression from bad loans.
Yeah.
Personal injury is our game. We'll spin it and win it. We'll find a way to get you the settlement you're entitled to. You'll get it all. We're the law office of Carver, Pratt, and Rosenthal.
Yeah.
All right, we're in black.
All right.
Man, oh man. That was something else that I wasn't quite prepared for. But what I am prepared for is to tell the audience about our wonderful evening's lineup. It is a special tribute to the class of 1988. We have therefore kept only members of the class of 88 and older around. No, any 89ers are not allowed here. You can see our drummer is not here. He's a little younger. And we're kind of, we're kind of going with that. We're seeing where us, 88ers are, and this is a very deep, personal conversation about that. So no offense to the youngers, but we got some stuff to talk about that. Most of all, we got one of the best guests. I've been waiting for this show for a long time. I should play him on with a little intro. When we were young, we used to clown around with some friends, and this is kind of a revised edit I made of a short film we did in about 88, I think, 88, and it's called Dingo, tentatively called Dingo. Here we go. You might recognize some of these people.
Wait a man. You know what that is? It's a giant koala.
Yeah,
they got those large digestive tracts and they go around eating the plants. But they're supposed to eat meat, so the poor little bastards die. They're hung quite low,
Is that
Hung
right?
quite low, wink wink.
I don't know. Let's go check it out.
All right.
Hey, Koala Man. Koala Man.
I told you, giant koala.
There's no man around here for miles. What are you doing here?
Hello, friend. I'm not a man. I'm Herbert the Wombat.
A wombat? What the hell's a wombat? Lip wrist.
Hey, mate. Now, my toothless puppy. You die!
You got a sister I can have? Oh, dude, man. You see my mother? Man, she is really fine, man. She ain't bad. You might want another man. Sister, I'll get some big mama, man. Hey, dude. Where's my friend? Where's my friend Peter?
Get out! Herbert! 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 Skip!
Feeling silky, yet sandy. Bushy, yet smooth. When applying the mousse, we simply put it on and let the mousse do the work.
leaving you feeling nasty. Dingo! 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 Dingo? Dingo, where are you? Dingo!
Destruction and pain. Children crying in the rain. Animals squished in the street.
I'm catching all the folks out, you know? Yeah, fuck off. Who the hell are you? So many people wasting oxygen. Story. A sweet story of death. Somebody must get done. Everything's been good. Oh, there must be others. My friend, my ship, my men. I've got to find him.
Yo, dude, don't be coming down on me with those negative waves, man. I've had some really intense vibes right now.
Excuse me.
Not my
Have you seen my friend?
Well, what does no, dude, man, I haven't seen him.
He's about this tall.
We burned our pizza place down, man.
My friend's health.
It's not my fault, man.
It's my guy.
Man, you go back to Irish, man. It wasn't my problem, dude.
Just like to bring a knife to a gunfight. By the way, could I have another piece of... It's you! I'll kill you, you traitor! I'll kill you!
It wasn't that, Jim. They're dead. You will die.
Let's party. Who is your leader?
I can't tell you.
Who is your leader?
I mustn't say.
You don't want to give me the Genesis device?
No.
Okie dokie. It's a nice forest anyway.
We're coming back, and yes, we are. We might be back, maybe.
Yeah, it's a little lag.
Yes, there we are. We're back. We're back. Welcome. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, former student body president of Grant High School, Mr. Nicholas Paulson. Woo! Thank you. How are you? How is your health? Very good. Here, I'll set you with. Why don't you go ahead and take this exquisite mic, and I'll just talk over here.
All right.
Yes.
There's a cat here on this. I don't think it's live.
I think there's all sorts of cat things.
I don't think this is live.
Oh, you want you to talk into it real quick?
Testing.
Oh, you're live. You just aren't hearing yourself.
Okay.
But you can. Do you want me to get that for you, or NP?
No, JD. Everything's fine.
All right.
I just wonder where Thomas Lauderdale is.
Thomas Lauderdale. Well, I'm sure he's busy with his band, the Martini something or another.
All right.
I don't know that we had a lot of cancellations. Was he truly a class of '88 though, or was he more of a '89er?
Oh, he was definitely 88.
Because I've met people that are Scott, for instance. He's one of those guys that had the choice to choose 88 or 89 because he was born in that time frame, and he went with 89. I can't imagine such a thing. We didn't have a choice. We're spring babies.
It was a different time. That year was a major turning point.
It was. What led you to become student body president of Grant High School in 1988?
So we're not going to interview Thomas. He's not going to be here. That's after this interview. Is that what you're saying?
I think I'm not sure. He might have he might want to do separate interviews. I'm not sure if there
All
was.
right. So this is just
comfortable
how
being in the same room with you.
the rise and fall of JD and NP.
Well, I was kind of thinking we could do it that way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's my show. So.
Well, you really have to start with Zig Ziglar. See you at the top, right?
Correct.
That's motivation.
Yes. So you came at me with the Zig Ziglar. Nick and I used to live in Northeast Portland back in a time when it was very small and it was a very family-oriented area, and we grew up just a block away from each other. And when we got to our sophomore year of high school, I was at Central Catholic, and Nick was always into doing these like trainings and very fit and proper. And I seem to remember Zig Ziglar coming about at that point. Like, weren't you doing a lot of training regimes or something?
Oh, I did try to keep fit here and there, but See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar was not only a personal enrichment and improvement program, but there was literally a whole curriculum at Central Catholic taught. Didn't you take that class?
Gene
never Moreland?
Took it. Gene took it.
Gene took it.
Gene took it. Well, speaking of Gene,
if you want to get everything you want out of life, just help enough other people get what they want. And that's what it's all about, my friend.
I think that's a nice segue to take a look at. I did a documentary on our class in 1988, and here's a little scene with Gene Moreland. Let's see how that looks.
Lives, even though many of our friends have given up on life.
How?
While the wisdom in the pontiff's words may have seemed sublime, his English skills were lacking. Many students struggled to understand his thick Polish accent, especially none more than the questioner, Gene Moreland.
Exactly. It was also in the text of
I think he spoke, he spoke many languages, but I think English was probably his 8th best or something.
So it is my answer, maybe sufficient for the moment.
Thank you very much, Your Holiness. And now, the sister cities of St. Louis and LA presented you with gifts of commitment and courage. Our gift to you is a gift of service.
Thank you. Thank you for all my heart.
That day of the Pope thing, I had football practice, and I remember coming to practice late because we had a post event, and I put on my pads and I come running out to the field. I don't know if it was the whole team or just my position, but the coaches had lined up the players, or some of the players on the line, and they all genuflected to me as I ran out of the field. And I was like,
Yes, Gene, the immortal, wonderful Gene Moreland. Gene Moreland is a wonderful realtor in the area. Speaking of Northeast Portland, if you're looking to move some property or buy some, Gene Moreland I can only recommend him thumbs up all the way. But we know Gene because we all actually met at Holyrood Grade School in kindergarten through 3rd grade. And Gene was there was sort of a thing where Central Catholic and Grant kids overlapped. It seemed like there was a lot of common ground there, at least in the Northeast neighborhood.
Well, yeah, a lot of the Catholic kids couldn't afford to go right away into the parochial schools, so it was really out of necessity that they dealt with us at the Holyrood and the Fernwood.
So we were too far, or was it just, people, good Catholics were probably freaked out about the All Saints stuff, I mean, it was freaky stuff
I'm not
going on
sure when we were at Holyrood that was a known thing. I think that probably got more 1984 was when that all came out. But no, I think it was more of a matter of you just save your money for Central Catholic, and you started at St. Rose, but
I did St. Rose for 2 years, so so we got farmed out. There was so Holyrood was a wonderful thing, and this is where my mom got angry, was because 4th grade we all had to go to the communist system of going to Laurelhurst. Right,
the proletarian schools.
Well, we already survived the fluoride treatment. I was always the kid that had to sit out from fluoride. But we actually didn't have any classes together at Holyrood, did we?
I don't think we did. I think
they almost like kept us out of their. I'm gonna have to show you a picture too that just came up recently. But I'm in touch with Jody Winchester.
Oh, wow.
Say hi to Joanne. She'll hopefully see this.
Hello, Joanne. You were the greatest babysitter of all time. Everybody in the neighborhood wanted Joanne to be the babysitter.
That's right. I still remember, I think we watched the 10 Commandments down there, didn't we?
I don't remember that.
Sound of Music, a few musicals in the basement, and there's a pool table. That was good. Good. In the 70s neighborhood in Northeast, it was that way. But then when we started high school, we got to that tender age of 14 and 15, and puberty's in the air, and I think when you combine that with the mid-Reagan era, you have this kind of consumerist, you know, classism almost. Like, I mean, the Outsiders came out then, right? The Socias, the Preps, and the Greasers. How did that impact where you were at 15 and your political decisions post-Zig Ziglar?
You see, everything after Boethius was actually propaganda. So I let none of that affect me.
You were focused even then.
Absolutely. If you want to get to the top, like Zig Ziglar and other great, powerful leaders, you have to be focused. Have to maintain your edge, Jeff. That's what the Wheel of Pain was all about.
I hated the Wheel of Pain.
The Wheel of Pain?
That was so torturous.
I know you listened to Arnold Schwarzenegger tapes. Can you feel it starting to burn? Good.
I did. My mom got me some Arnold Schwarzenegger tapes for Christmas one year, and you know, the whole pump you up. That there, well, actually, kids probably don't know this, but yes, Dana Carvey and Kevin Nealon were famous as doing Arnold parodies, and there was actually a real tape cassette that Arnold put out in '83, '84, and I did never pump up, never could. But this guy was fierce on push-ups, on sit-ups, on crunches, and running. Always the runner. When did you start cross country?
I didn't really start cross country until high school, freshman year.
But you had tennis all throughout that point, right?
Yeah, I played tennis from age 12 on, and broke my shoulder coming into high school, so it impacted my basketball career. Couldn't play basketball with a broken shoulder. So,
but you were able to come out of that broken shoulder as you aged, and none of us were supposed to be playing basketball. But as we got older, I think we were pushing 40 even, and we started playing for a Portland Peaceful Recreation League with a team called Free Ride. And I believe we have 4 of the members of Free Ride right here, looking at them. These guys are not just great musicians; they're amazing, amazing backcourt, front court.
Yeah, I see forwards. Very little ball handling here.
I would like to. Well, that's where you would. You're right. The 4 of us is terrible ball.
So this is a turnover factory.
We would never get the ball.
I mean, we all have skills. I mean,
I still think this is the most skilled talk show, and I challenge any talk show out there. This team right here, we can take you. And I know I'm talking big with my Achilles and everything, but we can take you. Dare you. Especially the older guys. All right. Moving on. Let's. So the presidency thing was it affected me pretty significantly. I was never able to get over that ego trip, and it affects everything I do. You know, it's like, is this it? And before I get into it, I'm going to take another look at, this is what Central Catholic was going through, their version of it. Let's take a look at that.
The student council would often find itself at odds with the dictates of the administration.
And you kind of remember, the prior year was, Toby's older brother was in there, and they were a little more serious than what we did. I'd never been on any student council, anything, class or anything. I just did it to do it, hey, if it happens. And it looks good on a resume or whatever, just to screw around. And I get it. I had no clue what I was doing. And then you're in there with me, and you have no clue what you're doing.
So that's what led to the student body presidency. Was my friend Nick Paulson. I always remember him. He was at Grant, and we made these plans of like, we're gonna run for office this time. We're gonna get something. What we'll do is we'll go ASB Pres at both schools, and that way our name gets out there, and then we can come in and suck up the treasurer of the class or whatever, and then have just exposure reasons. And I ended up winning, and so it was like, Nick, you better win yours, because so we had
Pressure's on, but he did, didn't he?
And he won his, and so we were presidents of Central Catholic and Grant High School. And
I was senior class secretary, which meant I got into the yearbook and I could put it on my college application, but it also meant that Allison Angelo, as the student body secretary, took all the notes at the meetings, so I kind of skated.
You know what? There was a scandal about me being the president, too, because I ran against Kevin.
The campaign was Vote Vic for Vice. It worked. It rolled off the tongue. And Kevin Canty was my manager, and he set up, and we spent a whole bunch of time, and he and I got together and did put my whole speech together.
And so we were trying to be like joint presidents, but they wouldn't have it. I mean, co-presidents, you know.
I remember talking to Matt Horn and finding out what he was wanting to run for. And he's like, all right, you're going to run for treasurer. All right, I'll run for secretary.
But I remember Matt, he beat me out on that election.
So it was you and Matt?
Because I got up and played
Peaches and Cream.
Peaches and Herb.
Was it Peaches?
Peaches and Herb reunited, and I was going to reunite the class.
I remember that.
And it wasn't quite good enough.
It was awesome. You were awesome.
Well, it wasn't good enough. I didn't win. Matt won. So the guys, he got up or something, and all the guys
it was
were...
the two of you against each other. Weren't you doing something?
Activities Director Anna Nassib was the public face of Principal Timothy Edwards' regime.
One of the more unusual arrangements involved an alliance between senior class officers and ASB President Dodge. Calling themselves the Big Five, Dodge, President Amy Burke, Vice President Kyle Cassidy, Treasurer Matt Horn, and Secretary Gene Moreland worked behind the scenes in efforts to undermine the administration policy.
The Big Five? What do you mean?
The Big Five? I don't remember it.
I had a freshman orientation with
I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Lord, can you feel it calling in the air tonight? Oh Lord, well, you told me you were drowning, but I could not lend a hand. In your face before my friend, no, here I am. I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. I can see it calling in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord,
It starts with the gear. A well-seasoned pan and a hot flame and utensils. We'll put it in a pan and keep it sizzling, hot and delicious. One bite and you'll love it. See what renowned head chef Raul Armando Augusta Castile is cooking up. Check out our mouth-watering daily specials. We serve the finest transcontinental delicacies that are out of this world. Where are you gonna find the best meal in town? Chez Bristow. We're cooking for you. Oh yeah, I gotta get some eye. Let me tell you something. You know, there's nothing that can get me going. And you know what I'm about to say. There's nothing that can get me going like a cup of Safford Brothers Taste the City Downtown Blend coffee. You know, I mean, you'd think that my whole world revolves around drinking this coffee, you know, and you'd be right, because, you know, this is my ritual, my routine. This is everything, you know. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting in a corner drooling. I wouldn't be able to move. I wouldn't have any energy. I wouldn't have any motivation. I'd just be sitting doing nothing. But I'm drinking coffee. I'm loving it.
And we're back. We're back. I'm Jeff Dodge. You're watching the Peasant Revolution Band Variety Hour with our featured guest, Nick Paulson, a longtime childhood comrade, and also a very, very talented thespian and artist. So without prefacing this too much, he brought us a little spoken word. I'm going to let him do it. Here it is, Mr. Nick Paulson.
All right. So is this the mic right here, JD?
Sure, they're all getting me.
They're all getting me, so it's all surround.
That's right.
That one right there. All right. So, oh, there's the grip mic. I'm good if it's picking up.
You're good. All right here.
So I guess kind of the question you have out there is, what's a patriot like myself doing here on Alberta Street? You know, I find many people on Alberta Street are left of Lenin. It's been said that JD may have been influenced by the Russians in this past election. I myself don't believe it. His favorite movie growing up was Red Dawn. I'm not going to believe it for a second that he would sell out to the Russians. I don't care what the NSA says, all these people, so-called deep staters. Jeff wouldn't do that. But, you know who might? Because I don't know. I got Mr. Thomas Lauderdale sitting right here in this chair. I guess it's great that Mr. Lauderdale's come here today. So maybe we have some questions for Mr. Lauderdale and his administration. The promises they made to us back in 1988. So, firstly, Mr. President Thomas Lauderdale, how have you handled all those promises to prevent gentrification here on Alberta? I mean, that was a big promise in '88, all right? And now just look what's happened to Irvington. Any answers from the chair? I don't think so. It's kind of like Joe Biden, smiling, sitting there smug, because he's part of the establishment. Wasserman Schultz, people out there. Well, it's our America, right? It's our America, not theirs, ours. I'll tell you what, I don't know who cried worse when they lost, Mitt Romney or me. I was weeping worse than Oprah. This guy here, in the chair, is out there making millions. off the backs of the working man. I tell you, you showed us something today by not showing up. You, Johnny Useldinger, Joel Southwell. Believe me, brother. Back in the day, they supported Bob Dole. But not now. Not now. They're all progressive. All progressive. Right? America. Freedom. Go ahead. Make my day. Class 88. Forever.
Time to pay some bills? Bills to pay now. Time to pay some bills? Bills to pay now. Bills to pay now.
Wow, that was fabulous, NP. Wonderful work. Wow. I'm impressed. Where did you come up with that idea?
Well, it dawned on me that Thomas, being the gentleman he is, might say he would show up and then bow out.
So, in case the crowd doesn't know out there, the audience, Nick and Thomas Lauderdale of Portland, they ran a bitter fierce campaign at Grant High School. And who were his campaign managers? I seem to see you reference.
Yeah, I think Johnny Useldinger was his campaign manager. They ran an excellent ground game. And
now, but it's Grant, they had 2 terms, where at Central you were in there for a full term. It's more dictatorial, Catholic, parochial, you know. But so you got it in the junior spring, overwhelming force. You dominate, you get elected, and then you have to campaign again in the winter. Is that what happened?
I guess so. The winter coming into the spring, for the spring term, classic overreach. You know, you have the resume builder. You should bow out. But petty power corrupts absolutely, I tell you.
And you wanted to hang on to it because of why?
It's my precious. It's my ring.
I seem to remember that.
Yeah.
And it was actually, we had a little bit of the clip in the documentary of my friend Anna Nassib at Central Catholic, and I were not, she was my boss, so we didn't get on that well. But the day I tried to pull my power maneuver, I had a secret meeting of the Big Five in the library, and they blocked me from going to the library and said, "You're not allowed in there." And I was like, all of a sudden I had all these officers, rebel officers, and we had nowhere to go, and it was like the whole administration swooping down. And I seem to remember simultaneously, I got home, a good friend of ours, dearly beloved, not with us anymore, but Clark Jensen, I called him that day, I think maybe even at lunch, because you were in this campaign against Thomas. Is that very same day?
That same day.
Breaking the bread in the speech of a lifetime.
Yeah, speak softly and carry a big stick, and I have a big stick. Busted up that French bread on stage. It was great. Great performance. I needed, it was like the Sarah Palin I needed. I was down.
Yes.
The ground game had me beat.
So you bring in the Palin effect.
I brought in a great little speech, and honestly, constitutionally, he never got 50%.
Really? So this was almost a super delegate.
There should have been a runoff.
Yeah.
There should, but it's rigged.
He had the super delegate.
It's rigged. It's all rigged.
Did Johnny and Joel twist any arms, or was it all fair game?
Well, they were just hard. They were Carville campaigners running it. And year before, I'd had Doug and Dave running mine for the senior class got a vote. So I lost the senior class.
Right.
And you know,
Did you have some trouble with the freshman class? There were some scandals there.
You had muckraking out there, people trying to
the school
spread
papers,
rumors.
just all smear campaigns.
I didn't help
Did that
myself
stuff,
any,
too.
probably.
You know, they used to they threw all sorts of stuff at me, being president and in a band.
You know, and I was hoping to speak to Lauderdale. He had a really good, from what I'd heard, a fantastic Martin Luther King Day speech.
That year.
That
in
year.
88.
Yep, he got in a couple assemblies.
Mhm.
You know, I hadn't, I got aced out of that, but I didn't mind because I didn't really want to do it.
Right.
Actually, I didn't even know about it. And that kind of gets into the NASCEB,
Yes,
sort of the
it
deep
does.
state, picking who's going to play or not. But he did an excellent job.
Survived the 80s. It's pretty easy to be kind of iconoclastic, I find.
Yeah.
And a lot of my trouble was the rock and roll. I was a threat to the school being in a band, and that band involved Steve Sabila as my bass player, and Tom Lenz was the drummer, and we were called Pink Milk. And let's take a little walk down that Pink Milk road.
You could really rock the Scorps.
Yes. Yeah.
It's, really obvious.
Smoke on the water.
Those horns, those horrible altitude horns. My altitude guitar.
That was good. I loved it.
We were all the band geeks. The thing about that, though, was Monroe was like, he wasn't like all the other teachers. In fact, I think he was like all of us. He was shunned away. I mean, nobody wanted him, but he didn't give a shit. He was cool, and
it was awesome because you were kind of in your own little microcosm. You know, the band room was, as you know, it was awesome. I mean, you were down there, it's like, you go in the sound booth and just like scream your head off or whatever, totally cathartic, and it was cool. I mean, everyone there everyone's a geek, so they're not judgmental.
One of the more recognized emblem of this culture was the stage band spin-off power trio, Pink Milk. Led by Dodge on guitar and vocals, Steve Sabula on bass guitar, and Tom Lenz on drums, Pink Milk established itself as a strong fixture in the Central Catholic high school music scene.
Popular at both football and basketball games, Mr. Davis Monroe's stage band allowed Pink Milk to thrive, belting out short blasts of Zeppelin and Cream riffs during timeouts and victories.
Cocaine at basketball games.
well, we was playing that song.
Apparently, I was told that we did play cocaine a couple times, but I would change the words to propane.
Yes.
I just barely remember that.
Propane.
By November 20th, despite winning the league title for the first time since 1957, the dream was over. The Rams lost to Canby.
Oh my goodness! We're so fortunate. I just got a call from Richard Branson is here. Richard Branson is called into the show. Have you ever talked to him before, Nick?
I have not had a chance to talk to Richard Branson.
Richard Branson,
Hey, Richard.
Can you say hello to my friend Nick?
Hello, this is Rex Tillerson calling.
Oh, I thought this was Richard Branson.
Oh my.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the National Wildlife Association.
Rex, I don't mean to pry, but have you been drinking again?
Perhaps this is not a good time.
Rex, if Richard Branson is nearby, I'd love to talk to him. That's actually who we thought called.
Well, let me check the submarine.
You're still on the submarine. I can't believe this.
Branson?
Sir Richard Branson, is that you?
Hello.
Oh my goodness, Sir Richard Branson.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What? You're still on the submarine? It's been like 6 months you've been on that thing.
We're looking for the new oil.
The new oil. Now, did our friend Rex Tillerson set you up to this, or is this something you just want to do?
No, this is part of the deep state.
Was that like a leftover of the Virgin record contract, or that's just they own you now?
Yes.
I love it. Sir Richard Branson, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And remember to vote in the primaries this year.
Vote with your heart. Vote twice.
And
Big,
with your
big
pocketbook.
votes. break the rigging machines, rig some more. I think everyone should get 10 votes is the way I look at it. But,
Very good. Well,
yes.
say hello to Mr. Paulson for me.
I certainly will. Thank you, Sir Richard.
Thank you, Sir Richard.
Say hi to the Queen for us.
Of course.
As well as that other president dude that I heard's been hanging out with you.
Oh, Oscar Mayer, you mean?
Yes, President Meyer, exactly. Okay, you take care and keep away from the hooch there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Wow, you never know who's going to call into the show. But it's usually at this point I like to really get into the politics, Nick, of the local city. There's this stuff going on. And what do you think of Northeast Portland, the one you grew up with, versus the one that we live in now?
Well, that's a very complicated question. Certainly a different world. I mean, I don't know. In some ways, businesses come and go. In the 80s and 90s, Alberta Street was run down, right? Other people would say it was a great community, but a lot of businesses...
I used to practice here then, and it was, yes, it was very dangerous, very...
Did he live up here or not?
He lived on 15th in Alberta,
okay.
And then moved to 9th in Alberta, and this would have been early 90s, and yeah, it was a very, very different time.
Because then his folks then moved kind of near Grant Park, right?
Well, he grew up there, so as we... Nick and I are a couple of the guys I know that haven't traveled too far, but Nims grew up right there on that, it was like right by that Baptist church off 33rd there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's gentrification's very tough for a lot of people, but you know, you got the Vanport
we
floods.
Don't have the homeless like the south side. Have you noticed that at all? Do you ever venture south of Burnside?
Well, you know, I work in Clackamas these days, so yeah,
wow.
I head out all the time, see the blue tarps.
Yes. And our travels in Oakland. I mean, the inequality and the homelessness is just driving me nuts.
Yeah, no one can afford housing at these prices.
I hear they're not even affording housing in Nebraska and anywhere in the country.
I don't know about that, but I haven't been in the Midwest in quite a while.
Yeah.
Remember, you were there in '92. That was awesome.
I went and visited Nick Paulson in Iowa, Grinnell,
yes.
Iowa, and it
Yes.
was a blast.
That was fun.
Yeah, a Greyhound bus from Chicago, and wrote some songs.
Far too old to take Greyhound anymore.
It's not good for the system. But you know who else isn't good for the system is this mayor. The city council and this mayor is driving me nuts.
What's wrong with the mayor?
I like the mayor, but I've got a couple issues, you know. So I wrote this list.
90?
We have the class of 90 here. Oh, you weren't supposed to be here, honey. I forgot. You didn't, prior to 88's banned. But
you should make an exception.
I saw you want to see some.
I just wanted to represent a little bit.
All right. Well, the class of 90, as long as it's none of them 89ers or 87ers, right? It's the ones right on top of you.
Yeah, they were too close. Too close.
Yeah.
And just to say goodnight, Jeff.
All right. Good night, Jeff. This one goes out to Clock. It's a song of hope.
When she gets there, she knows all the stores are all closed. In a word, she can't get what she came for. And she's behind a stairway to heaven. There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure. 'Cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird who sings. Sometimes all of our thoughts are misgiven. Oh yes, now. clothes just can't stay.